Hey everybody, welcome back to Video. So, taking out a fun and very exciting episode for you guys this evening, because if you missed our videos last year, we were on the hunt for an Operation Tiger PCB. It's one of the rarest Taito arcade boards ever made, and I finally found one. But in the search for trying to find one, I also found a manual for a game called Operation Tiger Second Mission, which was a ROM upgrade board for Operation Tiger that I had no idea it ever existed until that manual came across my desk in the mail from Japan. Well, this is actually Operation Tiger footage here from the original PCB, and I'll be uploading a long play soon, so the entire game is on YouTube. But thankfully, Operation Tiger Second Mission has been fully dumped and preserved thanks to Luke Morse, a Japanese arcade collector. He and I were actually talking on arcade projects. He found a board for this in Japan, and he was able to rip those ROMs and email them to me, as well as some people from MAME. Seems like I figured out the game existed and somebody else went out and found it, and that makes me happy for many different reasons. One, the game has been located and is now playable by everybody, and two, it wasn't me doing the hunting this time, it was actually somebody else. And that actually makes me very happy, because it's usually me on the wild goose chase trying to find these games to share them with everyone, so when I find out information and somebody else goes out and finds the actual game, that does make me happy. I'm not here for the credit, just for the fun. And I will upload these to archive.org. I'm going to put them under Operation Tiger MAME, and there will be 3 different versions of the game in there, including Second Mission. And now we are over onto Second Mission. You're going to see that all of the enemies have this flashing reticle over the top. This is a very weird update, and honestly, having played it from start to finish now, I can safely say that Operation Tiger Second Mission is the far inferior version of the game, and that does happen sometimes when there's a long hunt on for a very rare game. Sometimes you get a hold of it and it's actually not what you had hoped whatsoever. In the beginning of the game, you get this very solid sequence, and I'm going to play it from start to finish, where you have to fight attack helicopters as you're riding away on your own helicopter. This is the only new content in the entirety of Second Mission. It's actually an inferior game pretty much all the way around. It strips out the story, it strips out part of the actual game in and of itself. It's a smaller, shorter, more concise version of Operation Tiger, but honestly in all the worst ways, and that's an actual bummer. But it is fun from a preservation standpoint to have this available, and I will go over all the changes in the video to show you guys what the difference between the two games are, because you'll see here in the beginning we had a choice of levels to select after that helicopter sequence, and we're going to start the game on the same level we normally would. And as we go back to a previous video, when I actually found the manual for this, it talks about the different upgrade ROMs, but the reason I knew this was definitely different than the previous version I had played was because the manual talked about the different route map throughout the game. It would let you select levels in the order in which you wanted to play them. That was never available in the original Operation Tiger. You played the game from start to finish the way the developers intended, and the storyline goes along with that. Now, there are other small changes as well. This is the original Operation Tiger PCB captured from real hardware, and you're going to see we do have in-level pathing. That doesn't change in Second Mission, but we'll look at the characters' uniforms here, those 2 olive drab soldiers. Now that we move over to Second Mission, you're going to see that we basically take the exact same path, but there's going to be minor variations in where the enemies appear and what they are wearing. But that's honestly one of the biggest changes in the entire game, outside of one different path in the final level that does not exist in Operation Tiger, the vanilla version of the game. You'll see there was a tank top guy, and as we come over top the barrels here, the enemy closest to the camera on the right is going to be wearing a tank top and not military fatigues. But those are kind of the changes, and honestly I hate that flashing reticle. It feels like it's trying to copy something like Virtua Cop and not doing a very good job of it. And you'll see as we move back to the previous capture of original hardware, it is basically the exact same game. I'm not sure why Taito even sent this out in the first place. I don't know if they were hoping to get more quarters into the machine because it was a smaller experience. I don't know if this was a bug fix ROM that was just trying to solve something. But as we go through the game, it's fundamentally confusing why this would even exist in the first place. Maybe it was just failing and they thought that they could spruce it up a tiny bit and get a few more sales out of the arcade cabinet, because honestly, Second Mission is just a very strange game. And it is down to the fact that this lets you basically skip a third of what Operation Tiger the game even is. You'll see here at the end of the first round that we have chosen, we're going to get the round clear sequence, and then we're going to jump right into the next level, because you only get the choice as to which route to go at certain junctures in the game after that little helicopter intro sequence and after this next level. And we jump right in and we skip over an entire chunk of the game. There's only one way to see the previous preceding area from this, and I will show you that in just a moment. But as we move over to Operation Tiger, the original game, you're going to see at the end of this round, we're going to go into the next round, and you're going to get story. All of the story has been stripped out of second mission. You have no idea what's going on, including all the voice acting, which is actually relatively decent. Go ahead and listen for just a moment, and I'll be right back with more.
My name is Milane. I infiltrate the enemy and spread false information. Your comrades are still alive. I'll take you to the guerrilla hideout where they're being held, and we can try to rescue them. Let's go!
Now, at the path you choose in the beginning, you can go to this area, but you're not going to get any story, but then you miss the entire prison break sequence and the entire first level we've been showing you in the game. You have to skip a third of Operation Tiger in second mission to see anything, and you also lose the entirety of the story as you play along with the game. This makes absolutely no sense. Honestly, in a lot of ways, Operation Tiger's second mission feels like a beta or prototype for what would actually release in arcades, but we know this was an upgrade ROM, and that is what makes no sense. This is not an upgrade to the game. It actually takes away 33% of the content and 100% of the story, and all it does is add a 30-second helicopter sequence at the beginning of the game and one slight branching path that I'll show you in just a moment. But to even see this area in the original Operation Tiger, all you need to do is hit start and play the game from start to finish. The developers made an entire pathway through the game for you to understand the story and what you were doing, and in second mission they've completely removed that and cut the runtime of the game. This entire sequence here, this chase through a canyon on a jeep, is one of my favorite parts about Operation Tiger, and I do think this game as an original PCB is quite good. And the great part is it does work in MAME. It's a little stilted obviously, and there is no audio, but you can still enjoy the game. But again, this is another sequence that the game will just let you skip over. You'll see here we can just go to the right, go to the final level, and skip that completely. Now, side by side, the games are also very similar. There is a hitching issue in MAME emulation, so some of these things are not going to match up perfectly, but on the left you have the original arcade hardware, and on the right you have the PCB, and you're going to see this entire boss battle basically adheres to itself the entire way through. There are no changes, there are no path differences. It's like they did a cut and paste job of the original game to make it shorter and to take away the story, but I can't think of any logical reason to do that. Leave me a comment down below and tell me if you think of one. You'll see here that definitely the emulation has gotten further ahead, but that's because I kind of just did a bomb dump to clear out the different enemies. But the nice thing is, at least we can experience this now. Operation Tiger in and of itself is an exceedingly rare game. I know 2 other PCBs in the world that are not in my office. Second mission, even rarer than that. So the fact that this is available and preserved for everybody to enjoy, Luke Moore sent me the ROMs and I popped them up on archive. That is a very good thing, and it kind of just goes to show that sometimes the juice is not worth the squeeze. What that means is sometimes the hunt for these rare games is not worth it when you actually get a hold of them and play them in your collection. You will find that they just do not live up to the hype. I was hoping that second mission had more levels from the first game, more story content, and just more of what I really enjoyed. Instead, it basically takes all of that away. Like round 4 here, Breakthrough, you're not going to get any story in second mission whatsoever. This is the original game on original hardware, and you at least get context as to what you're doing. Second mission just throws you into some vignettes, has you shoot the bad guys, and has you move on with the game, never explaining why you're doing any of this stuff in the first place. And that is just a bad design decision if you ask me. Now, as we get to the final level in the game, and you get there much sooner in second mission, you're going to see that there is a slight path deviation. Does not change the game whatsoever, and I will show you that from the original PCB over to MAME emulation of second mission. And I am going to burn a set of ROMs for my arcade board so I can play this. I just did not have the right chips in stock, and one of them does not seem to be available from any vendor, so I'm going to have to start buying things on eBay and hoping for the best. But you'll see here, this is the original PCB. We're blowing up all these tanks with this bombed out car in front of us. This is what the original game looks like. You'll see that tank comes in from the right. And in just a moment, you're going to see where the game does deviate from itself. But again, it's nothing that really adds any fundamental value to a second version of this game. And as this helicopter comes in and starts releasing these explosive satchels, you're going to see very shortly where it does deviate. But do play Operation Tiger. I do think it's a really fun game. Just play the original. because you'll see here as I move back over to emulation on second mission, we're going to have that same bombed out car, but we are not going to go forward into the level. We're actually going to take a right here and go through this little warehouse. Now maybe it's possible in the original game to do this. I've never been able to figure out how to because I didn't know it existed outside of playing second mission, but this is just a slight new area. It doesn't really make any difference though, and you'll see here as we get into the final part of the game, at least we get a little story as to where we are going, and as we soon move over to second mission, you're going to see that that story again has been completely taken away. Operation Tiger second mission makes no sense. It removes a third of the game, it removes 100% of the story, it puts that garish little highlight over top the enemy. It just in no way, shape, or form works for what it's trying to do, and that is a giant disappointment. I am extremely happy that the ROM's available and it's been preserved. I'm extremely disappointed in what ended up being on those chips. But that's what happens sometimes. Big thanks to Luke Morris for dumping this. It's up on archive, go check it out and tell me what you think. But we're done and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.